So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this pricing and negotiation session to understand how to price like a pro, how to negotiate like a boss, some of the pricing psychologies, some of the things you should do to avoid making pricing mistakes. So let's go straight to the point. Now, the first thing you must understand, that must be at the back of your mind in any pricing relationship, in any pricing agreement, or in any pricing conversation, is this: what is your customer's willingness to pay? What can the person you are charging afford? If you have the right offer and you target the wrong audience, you will have problems, you have challenges. So you need to have, if you have the right offer, maybe you are offering valuable services, you are doing stuff that has value. You must also ensure that you are targeting the right people. I remember, I'll use myself as stories along the way in this journey. I remember, when I created a coaching program, a scale-up coaching program, and I opened the coaching program to everybody. And when I realized that it's not everybody that could afford a premium coaching program, I had to go back to the drawing board, say, okay, who are the people, who are the audience, who are the target audience that can afford this, that have the willingness to buy this? Then I set for myself, okay, if someone have earned, if a freelance, because I was targeting freelancers, if a freelancer have earned this particular figure, then they should be able to pay for this offer, they should be able to pay for this program. So I had to understand my customers' willingness to buy. My customers, before I could, before I went back to give the offer, targeting those set of people. And that is why in my clarity call, I created clarity call programs. And in that clarity call, there's a qualification I use there that says, if you've not earned this particular amount, then this program is not for you. Now, I've had people who skipped that qualification, and I've had people who stop at that qualification. Let me tell you what I mean. I've had people that when I said the qualification and they realize that, I don't meet this criteria, then they leave. So that means they don't bother to waste both our times. And I've had people that they don't qualify, but they have the money. And they will tell me that even though I don't qualify, I'm interested in buying. That's a customer's willingness to buy. And that's one of the things you need to know. So as a freelancer or as a provider or anything you do, what is the willingness to pay of your clients? At what price point should you set it? Because what are they ready to pay? Now, I also had a story of something that happened this week, which is something you would learn, where a student was trying to reach me for her client, and she was ready to charge the client $500 for a service. But she just asked the client, so what's your budget? And the client mentioned 4 times what she was ready to charge. Now, because she didn't know what to charge, that was why she set $500 at the back of her mind. But that client said $2,000, and there's a way to avoid that, and there's a way to ensure you don't shoot yourself in the leg. These are the things you need to know as someone who is setting his or her price at any point. Because if you set your pricing right, it has an effect on your profit. I told you guys that one of the things I do for my scale-up students is teaching them this, is because the beauty of pricing is that when you master pricing, you can charge 3x, 5x, 10x for the same service you are offering. So you are not even changing anything. You are not increasing anything. You're not even doing more of what you do. You are just increasing your prices, targeting a different audience, or changing your offer for the same value. So that's one thing you need to understand. A lot of things can determine price: cost pricing, competitor pricing, customer-based pricing. Now, when it comes to cost pricing is the cost of you doing your product. For you that you offer services, we do a lot of services here. These things can apply to your product when you are selling tangible product. But in this session, I'm dealing with a lot of people that you are selling services. What are your costs? You spend on internet. You spend on internet, you spend on power. I don't know the country, I know a lot of people are here from different countries or are in different countries right now. Now, depending on the country you are in, you are spending on internet, you are spending on power, you are spending on a lot of things. Then you even spend to learn what you are offering. So let's say you're a data analyst, let's say you're a digital marketer, you spent to learn these things. So that's the cost. Now, by the time you factor in that cost, there should be a baseline price you can charge. So when you do that, then you can charge X, you can charge Y. So that's baseline pricing for you. And that's what cost pricing is. Now, the other one is competitor-based pricing. Now, how does competitor-based pricing work? The way competitor-based pricing work is simple. You check what other people are charging for the same service. At the end of this session, I'm going to show you how to do competitor-based pricing when we finish this session. Now, the third one is customer-based pricing, which is the best mode of pricing, which is called value-based pricing. Now, these are three methods of pricing. It's not the only three, but these are at least three of the most popular methods of pricing. And each of them has its own pros and cons. And you should always, and there's a way you can even match all three together to get the best pricing, to charge right and everything. Now, there are some pricing terminologies you should also know. I've mentioned the first one, which when I was talking about customer-based pricing. There are some pricing terminologies you should know, and I'm going to briefly mention or give you some examples. Price anchoring is one of the best method a price expert or a negotiation specialist will use. If you don't know how price anchoring works, let me tell you what price anchoring is. Price anchoring is the first price someone calls for you. The first person that sets a price, that calls a price at a particular negotiation, is the person that sets the anchor. Because when you imagine you go to a market, or imagine you go to a store, or imagine you are negotiating with anybody. Even though you say you like discount, you call on discount based on the first price someone calls for you. Sometimes you go to markets, or sometimes I'm using market as an example now. So you just imagine because you go to do maybe shopping or anything, so they can just relate. You can relate to it as you do. And sometimes you at the back of your mind, you have a price in your head that this is the price I want to pay. But when you get there, someone calls a particular price and it's even maybe higher than what you wanted to pay, even though you have the money. Then, but even because everybody loves a bargain and everybody wants a discount, so it's based on that first price they will be calling the discount on, and that's what price anchoring is. And the next one you need to know is price decoy. Price decoy is just a decoy to push you. Most times when they set three pricing, there's always a decoy there to push you to either to the bottom or to the top. And it works with tier pricing. There's 99 pricing because we read from left to right. So people use 99, and that's why people end. Now, some research has shown that it does not affect pricing. Other research has shown that people, it has some tiny effect on pricing. But whether you like it or not, psychologically, you read from left to right. So there's a difference between $995 and $1,000. It's $5, but it's the same thing. Because when you charge $1,000, people will be like, oh, that's 1,000. But when you say 995, because you hear 900, and it looks like it's way cheaper than 1,000, but the difference is tiny. But the person using 995 is using the power of 999. And it does not have to be start from 9. It might end in 9. Some people use it to end in 7. Some people use it to end in 5. Anyone. Then what's your budget? Which I mentioned that the example I just gave you. You can just ask, especially when you don't know what to charge. Even when you know what to charge, sometimes you can just ask them, what's your budget? Because that's also one of the things what your budget does for you is that it does not waste your time, because it helps you to gauge the level of the client you are dealing with and to know the offer, to tell the price, to tell the person. Then there's tier pricing. Then there's also, I just added familiarity pricing, because I had people who had challenges charging their friends and family. So I told them that there's something called, you can do familiarity pricing, where if you offer people a particular price, then you can offer your friends and family a particular price. Now, the most important thing you need to know about pricing, the first thing you need to know is value-based pricing. Now, when you offer value-based pricing, you are working on perceived value. When you create the right perception, you will be able to charge right. You create the right perception, you will be able to charge right. Perception is greater than reality. And I heard that from one of my mentors who told me that people's perception of you is greater than the reality. Now, let me give you an instance for yourself. You realize that sometimes people think you have more money than you have. That's the best one I can use that you can relate with. And maybe it's because of they've seen pictures that you post. Even though you yourself, you are looking for, you are looking to raise funds, or you have bills to pay. But just because of the picture that you posted, or maybe things that you talked about, they've already created a perception in their head that, oh, you have XYZ amount. So, but if you are trying to correct them and say, no, my reality is this, no, trust me, that perception they have of you, it's bigger than any reality that you have. So that's just an example. I believe I'm just using that analogy so you understand the way perception works. Now, you can also use perception to your advantage. You can create a perception. Now, I'm not telling you to lie. And this is the thing that scammers, this is the thing that scams use. They create a bad perception. And because we believe those perceptions, that's why people are easily scammed. I'm not saying everybody, there's a way people will create stuff for, but let's not go deep into that. But I'm saying that perception is bigger than reality. And we are using that for the context here, which is value-based pricing, saying that if you can create the right perception, and how does perception work? If you can create the perception about your offer, what you do, if you can create the perception around, oh, this is the value I offer, this is the outcome-based pricing I can give you, this is what I can deliver for you, then you can charge your clients. It's just as simple as that. Then you can charge your client. Now, there are different methods of pricing, and hourly or fixed pricing is one of them, especially for people who offer services or people who do freelancing and everything. Now, I'm mostly talking to freelancers here. Now, when do you know how to fix hourly or fixed price? Now, if you know the scope of a project, when people come to me and they say, I don't know what to charge XYZ clients, the first question I used to ask them is this: what is the scope of the project? Because if you don't know the scope of a project, it affects your mindset, it affects what you can charge. Now, if you don't even know the scope of a project, one of the best things you can do, like you don't know when a project will end, then charge hourly. It means that if I spend 100 hours on this project, and me and the client have agreed that you pay me $10 per hour. So for every hour I'm spending, I'm getting paid. If you pay me $50 per hour, for every hour I'm spending, I'm getting paid. But if you know the scope of a project, maybe you've done it before, you know someone that have done it before, you in your head, theoretically, you know how to get it done, and you can put a pricing on it. Then you can put a fixed price. So that's one of the ways. There are different ways to check to fix those two things, but it's one of the ways to fix them. Now, fixed price, they have the pros and cons and when to use them. Hourly rates, pros and cons, when to use them. Hourly rate works well, especially for unstructured jobs, or when you are dealing with people that are unstructured, they don't have structure. You just put it hourly, because how many hours you want to, if you don't know the amount of hours you're going to take my time for, no problem. For every hour you take my time for, you pay me. It's as simple as that. So if you say, oh, I don't know, maybe we'll spend 10 hours or 50 hours on the job, no problem. My rate is $25 per hour. So if it's going to be 10 hours I work for you, then I get paid $25 per hour for 10 hours. If it's going to be 50 hours, $25 per hour for 50 hours. So it's a win-win. You use my time, you pay me. But when you put a fixed price scope for a hourly, so for someone that is using your time, it will elongate, you get frustrated, especially as I said, I'm talking about unstructured client or unstructured jobs here. Now, there are different ways to ask for more money from your clients. This can be, the thing is this: when you are dealing with new clients, they don't know you. But most times you can ask more for people who have already known you. And how do they know you? So it's easy for you. The point I'm trying to make is this: it's easy for you to ask for more money from someone who have seen you work or who you've done something for before. It's easier than someone who has not, seen you, who is meeting you for the first time. When you are talking with a stranger, or you're talking with a client you just met, first you need to build credibility. So it's difficult for you to just meet someone, you've not built trust, you've not built credibility, and you're asking for more money. So it's very difficult at that scenario. Now, you can call your rates, but this particular scenario now, I'm talking about asking for more. No, so when you want to ask for more money, you should have built trust. But when you build trust, it's easy for you to ask for more. And but also from the angle of calling your rates, don't be scared to call your rates. Don't charge lower than what you are worth, and just ask for more money or ask for your rates in a very, very step-by-step way. For example, there's an XIS way you can ask for more money. First, you can show appreciation. Then you can illustrate your reason why you're asking for that more. Now, the I in the SIS part is very, very important because people want to justify. And there's a sales term that says that we buy emotionally and we justify logically. So people want to justify a purchase they are making. So when you illustrate your reason, then they will give themselves the justification of why they are paying you more. This is why the I is very, very important. Then S is also important. Seek for more. If you don't ask, people will not give. Now, you show an appreciation. Thank you for giving me the job. Thank you for thinking of me. Thank you. Just using that to build your, to just break their defense. And you illustrate why you deserve more money. You are backing up your claim here. Sometimes the same job, you will need to charge more for different reasons. For example, it has a short deadline. A job that should take you 5 hours, and someone is saying, I need this job done in 1 hour. It means that the person is reducing the time it's going to take you. Then you should charge more and you should explain that this is what you're asking for. Now, it involves a lot of research. If you are going to be taking more research or taking time to spend, researching for the job, then you should charge more. It demands specific knowledge. This is why technical writers charge well. When you have a specific knowledge for a topic, it's easy for you to charge more. If it doesn't give you credit, maybe you're a ghostwriter, you are losing the credibility, you are losing, if you've signed an NDA agreement that you won't be credited for the job, no problem. Get paid well so that you know that at least, even though you don't have credit for the job, your bank alert was smiling. And if you've delivered quality work for the client before, this is where I talked about, building credibility, building trust, then it's also easy for you to charge more. Or if you're just super at what you do, like you've built that level of saying that, yes, I can do this, I've done this, and I can always do more. Then seek for more. So when you're asking for more, these are the reasons where you should be asking. You should be telling them why they should pay for more and seeking them, which is after you illustrate, then you should tell them. And you can use, there are some polite examples you can use. You don't have to be limited to these. You can look for more, or you can change the English according to your taste. Some of you have good English writers here. Considering that, can you bump the rate? Are you against raising your rates? Can we negotiate? Would you be willing to pay for? Are you flexible on the, just, use that to build that, and it helps you when you're in any negotiation or when you're building your price for anything. Now, some of the things you should also need to have before asking for more is this. Number one is very important. Have a basic rate you charge for your services. Most of you here, or some of you here, let me not generalize. Some of you here don't have a basic rate to charge. If I ask you, what do you charge? You don't have. And it's bad. Have a basic rate you charge. What's your fee? You call yourself XYZ service. You do customer service. You do virtual assistant. You do admin. Do you have a rate card? Do you have a basic rate you charge? So that if someone comes to you, if a client comes to you out of the blue, is it that time you start asking, so who charges for? What do you charge for? No. Do your research on ground, because when you do your research and it gives you confidence when you are talking. Yes, some clients, no matter the confidence you come with, they will still go. Remember that I said you can have the best offer for the wrong audience. It can be, it will be, it won't, most times it won't be a win, or it won't turn out to be to give you dollars. But if you have a basic rate that you charge, it's easy for you when someone comes to you and say, I need your service. Like at the back of your mind, you have a basic rate, then it's easy for you, because it helps you to also know your bottom line before you enter any negotiation, because it gives you, the minimum you can't go beyond. And if a client is unwilling to meet your minimum rate, be ready to decline the offer. There's a particular offer. I was speaking with a client this week. I called my rates and I gave the client a reason why the rate is like that. And the client is saying, oh, I can't go beyond. I mean, I just told myself, this is not worth it for me. And I'm going to say no to the offer. Very simple. It's not worth my time. So, because if you say no, you move on to the next one. Now, sometimes some people don't understand why, especially when you don't have a job yet. So you are looking at, so you are even seeing a job, or you are seeing someone else that is saying no to a job. Yeah, you don't understand, because you are still looking for a job. I need you to understand that a bad job sometimes, not even more sometimes now, a bad job most times is worse than no job. Because when you have no job, you are still fine. But when you go through a bad job, you can have a worse experience. I've had students or I've had people that have gone through a bad job that they became depressed. They had mental issues after going through, maybe they dealt with the client. So just a very, 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 very bad experience for them. And if they had not gotten that job, at least they would be at zero, right? And it would be easy for them to look for a client. But just because they went through that bad experience, they needed time to heal. So even when a good client came, they were not ready yet. So that's what you don't understand, that a bad job can kill you or can kill your mood or kill your vibe, that you won't be able to take on the next good job. So you might not understand that. You might be feeling, oh, I'm looking for a job. A job is a job. But you have to be very, very careful. Some jobs are toxic. Now, always address your clients. Remind them, especially this is when you are dealing with people that you've built trust with. Remind them of your past successful collaborations. Then go above and beyond. And sometimes embrace silence. And another thing you can always do is this. You can provide a rate range. I typically charge between X, Y, Z. See, the way this rate range work is that you can use this rate range to do an anchor. Remember that I told you something about anchor at the beginning of this session. So someone comes to me and they say, I want you to do a service of XYZ for $500. And you say, normally I charge $2,000 to $3,000. Now, I'm not telling you that, I'll just put it, I'm not telling you that I'm going to charge you yet. I'm only just telling you that this is what I've been charging. So I'm trying to anchor them that normally this is what I charge. Then they'll be like, but you are calling $500. Then you can now be like, okay, negotiation table. Now this is now coming to the negotiation table. How about we do it for $1,500? Then they'll be like, no, remember that you've anchored them with the normally I charge XYZ. Then you now call a figure. Then even though they've called their own figure to anchor you, you can flip the anchor. Then you can, move from there. Then you can offer tiered packages. Tier pricing is something you can do. Then you can negotiate your rate and terms. The thing is, the way negotiating rate and term works is this. If a client cannot meet your rates, you can negotiate other aspects. Meaning that, this is one of the things you can do when you are negotiating your rate. So if a client is saying, I would like to pay you $500 for a project, and you're asking them, pay me $1,000, and they're like, no, let's stick to 500. Then okay, and you even know that, okay, you want that $500. Say, okay, yeah, you want a yes, but this client is sticking to that. Then if you can negotiate that figure, you can negotiate other aspects of the price of the project. Example, you can negotiate the scope of the project. If ideally the person is saying, I'll pay you $500, you deliver it in 1 week, then you can negotiate that, okay, $1,000 for 1 week or $500 for 2 weeks. So that means that even though you are not negotiating your price, you are negotiating the time. So if they are ready to, okay, so if they do at least $500, then they should be able to. Then because when you start saying, okay, and someone is saying, I want it done in a week, but I'm ready to pay you $500, you are saying, no, I want $1,000 for a week. And they cannot stick to that. Then you can tell them that, okay, if you want $500, I will agree to your rate, but you also agree to my timing, meaning that I'm not going to deliver this in a week, I'll deliver it in 2 weeks. So then they will start arguing with themselves that, okay, am I okay with the timing? Because, speed and efficiency. So it's just trying to tell you that you can negotiate other things. Then another thing you can do is you can use testimonials, you can use referrals, you can use a previous job to negotiate. Ready to walk away if a client is unwilling to meet your minimum time rate. Now, because in negotiation, always know your bottom line. And if a client is unwilling to meet it, just be ready to walk away. There's a word that I like to talk about. I'll just talk about it briefly. There's ZOPA and BATNA. What does ZOPA mean? ZOPA is zone of possible agreements. It's a term for negotiation, and it's something that I would like to go deeper and talk about. I might not be able to do it now, but there's ZOPA and there's BATNA. And as in when you're in any negotiation table, you should understand what ZOPA and what BATNA means, because it helps you. And in plain terms, let me tell you what it means in plain terms. ZOPA is the where you and your clients can find the mutually acceptable terms. And the partner is what's the best alternative to an agreement. So what does partner mean? Let me tell you in simple terms, in plain English. Partner means if you don't agree the offer, what do you have? So if you are so confident in yourself that you know that if I don't agree to this client's offer, I can go and get another client, then you can say no. But people that can't say no are people that they know that if they go agree to this client offer, they might not get something else. So that's why, that's alternative. Then for the client too, if the client does not agree, most times, we're in the world where clients have a lot of partners because they have alternative freelancers to go to. But when you have value and when they know that, oh, I might see other freelancers, but I might not see you the way the service you can offer for me and the way you've maybe structured how you're going to give me or deliver value for me. So if there's no alternative to you and you are unique at what you do, people will always stay with you. They will always stick with you. So and that's just an example of super and partner. Yeah. So that's just basically what pricing is. Now, one thing I want to cover for you is this, and one thing I want to explain for you is this. I want to show you some practicals. In the practical aspect, when it comes to getting the price, there are different ways you can go about it, and there are different platforms that you can use. So Upwork is one of the platforms. Fiverr is a platform you can use. Then we have People Per Hour. People Per Hour is also a platform you can use. There are different platforms, and how can you use this platform? One of the first things you can do is this. Always check these platforms. They work in a gig service system, at least the first two, and even Upwork has its own gig service system. So for example, say I'm a digital marketer now. I do e-commerce marketing and I don't know what to charge. I'm a newbie. So I go to e-commerce marketing, I check what they are charging, and I check what people are charging for the services here. And sometimes this gives me an idea of what to charge. Now, remember that you are going to get some people on the high end of the spectrum. You will get some people that are willing to charge peanuts. But at least it gives you an idea. Then, depending on who you want to follow, then it will help you, because that way you know that, okay, even though some people are charging $10 for a service, some people are charging $500 for the same service. Then if you say you want to be in the middle, it's up to you, depending on how you can be in the middle. So and you can check what the person that is charging high is, what the value they are offering, for example. Then you can also check the person that is charging low, what the value they are offering. That also helps you to determine your own value and charge. So you can go to these kind of platforms and check these things. So this is People Per Hour, for example. You can do it at People Per Hour. You can check People Per Hour, and it helps you to get the pricing. So this is People Per Hour, depending on any service. Now you can do the same thing at Fiverr. So Fiverr also works in a gig system. So let's say I'm a video person, I'm an animations person, and I do maybe motion graphics, logo animation. I can check what people charge for motion graphics. Remember that I'm a newbie, I don't know what to charge. Even if I'm not a newbie, if I'm in my nature, or maybe I'm new to freelancing, then I can check what people are charging for. This is someone who is operated, who is charging this for a custom logo. And I can check what the person is charging for custom logo, for basic service, for a standard service, and a premium service. Now, what does it mean basic? You check what the offering is, the custom logo, full HD. You check what standard means, custom logo, sound design. You check what premium is, custom sound design, music, for the price. Remember that gives you an idea of what people charge for those services, so that's how it is. That's one of the things you use, So let's say I'm a web designer, I go to websites. What people charge for websites? What do they charge? Someone charge, responsive websites for this price, they're even running ads. So people charge depending on what they charge, responsive website. So someone charge web design for this charge, another person charge a responsive WordPress web design for this. Then you can check it and see, okay, this is what this person is charging, and this is what the fee is, standard, what does standard contains, what is the value. Remember that we talked about value-based pricing, so value and price, premium, value and price. So that's it. Now, for Upwork, 3 ways you can go about it on Upwork. You can check the job. Now, if you go to Upwork, for example, you see jobs that people have posted in the niche. Now, so for example, this is a job, front-end developer, needed for a website. This is a job. So that means that I can look at this job and I can see the budget. That gives you an idea. And if you are checking budgets, check amounts our clients have spent too. Because some people that have not spent money can call ridiculous budgets. But check amount that they've spent. For example, look at this WordPress sites with booking payments functionality, and they're ready to pay $400. This is giving you a willingness to pay. Remember that we talked about willingness, customers' willingness to pay. And that's how you know what people are ready to pay. So you can check that. You check what people are ready to pay. You can just go through it, and if someone is ready to pay logo design for a website at this price, then it gives you an idea. So that gives you a pricing idea. And the second way you can go about it is this. You can check people in the niche. So if I'm a website designer, I can check people in the website design, people in the web design niche. I can check talent in the web design niche, and I can check their rates, what do they charge, and I can also check the jobs they've done. I can check the jobs they've completed, for example, and I can check how much did they charge. Because remember that you're trying to get a frame of reference to help you. So I can check their rates. I can see that, okay, billboard had design. This person charged $10, and, for this. For logo, the person charged. For banner design for website, the person charged. So remember that, custom WordPress design, the person charged. This is last year, the person charged this. Now, this gives you an idea of ranges, and it helps you to come up with your own chart, your own rate. And don't just stick to one person. Check 5, 10, 15, 20 people. So the first part is checking the job by clients. The second part is checking the jobs freelancers have done and checking, their rates. Then the third part is checking their project, checking project in web design. So for a web design person now, I've checked 3 different things I've done. I first checked design jobs, and I see what people are charging, or clients are charging, and the rates they call for services. I checked freelancers in those niche. It gives me what people are charging. Then I can check project catalogs in the niche of web design. So let's say I'm a web designer, I'm checking this, and I'm saying, okay, these are people charging this. So someone is saying, I'll charge this for a landing page. So remember that I've learned these skills and I don't know what people are charging. So this is it. This person is charging $150 for a landing page. So that means, okay, people charge this, and this is what they offer. Now, why I'm showing you this is because some of you offer the same service, but you charge less, but you don't know that people charge more for those services. So it helps you, and it gives you more of exposure. It gives you that build up, that exposure, and it helps you. Now, you can offer discounts. That will be at your discretion, but you know that this is my price and this is my rates. And that builds your confidence. So this one is saying Shopify store, this is what I offer, $150 and everything like that. So, and you can see the things that is included. So this helps you, and these 3 things helps you when you are charging price, or when you are trying to do research on what to charge. So I hope that has been able to guide you on pricing. Yeah. So that's it.